This is Newsmax TV. I'm Ashley Martella. It appears as though President Obama may be about to fire his commander in Afghanistan, General Stanley McChrystal, because of unflattering remarks he made to a freelance writer for Rolling Stone magazine. Here to discuss this with us now a bit is James Carafano of the Heritage Foundation. Mr. Carafano is a national security scholar and the author of many books on papers on national defense and homeland security. Thank you for being with us again, Jim.
Good to be with you.
As we know, General McChrystal has been summoned to the White House to explain his statements that he was disappointed with his first meeting with Obama and that Obama was unprepared. He was quoted as saying he felt betrayed by the U.S. ambassador to Kabul, Karl Eikenberry. Considering McChrystal voted for Obama and Obama handpicked him for the job, and McChrystal has issued a profound apology, is McChrystal out, or might this somehow blow over?
Well, if we fired generals every time they said something stupid, we'd all still be speaking English. I mean, George Washington said things that were inappropriate. General Patton said things that were inappropriate. Everybody makes mistakes. What General McChrystal did was just wrong. I mean, regardless of where your politics are, regardless of what you think about the war strategy, these are unprofessional comments, personal comments, and they're just not appropriate for a senior military commander or his staff to make to a reporter. So who's ever running the public affairs down there, they are just wrong that they ever let this happen to begin with. But I think General McChrystal is widely recognized as an effective military leader. He has revitalized his strategy in Afghanistan. He has the trust and confidence of the political leaders in Afghanistan, of his fellow NATO commanders on the ground, of the generals in Pakistan. He's respected in the Pentagon. He's a good warrior. This is a really important thing for the United States to get this right. Changing horses just because of careless comments to reporters, maybe not in the best interest of the nation.
So you think he stays? That's a good chance of it?
Well, I think the administration's already made a mistake by making a bigger deal out of this. I mean, calling him back to Washington, calling him on the carpet, that's ratcheted this up. I mean, if they were smart, they would have just said, the generals apologized, that's it. I think making a big deal out of this politically is actually not good for the administration because they just sort of draw more attention to the issue. If they wanted to issue him a reprimand, they just should have called him on the phone and the president should have kind of chewed him out. But they shouldn't have made a big deal out of this if they were smart. They would just say, the generals apologized, end of story, there's a war to be won, let's get on with business.
Jim, you have some good sources inside the Pentagon. Is there an adversarial relationship or at least some mistrust between the White House and the military?
I think anyone would be lying to say if there aren't great stress. I mean, let's go back and review the history here. So they get General McChrystal. They say, give us a plan to fix this thing. He goes and he writes a plan, and he said, this is the plan, and this is how many troops I need. And there was a big number and kind of a medium number and a low number, right? And the big number was the number that we need to really make sure we get this thing done right and to really have a high degree of success. And then the president says, oh, wait, let me think about this for 3 months. Well, I figure out why we're even there. Then the president comes back and says, well, you can have the medium number for no other logic other than if, I can't give you the high number because then everybody will see like I'm, giving into the military. And I don't want to do the low number because I'll seem weak on defense. So I picked the middle number because it's in the middle, which is nuts. And then he puts this timeline on there, which sends all the wrong signals to everybody, the enemy and the friends, about our commitment. So, I can imagine where the military would feel, the president has kind of boxed us in. He's committed us to doing this. He's not given us all the tools we need. He's putting some restrictions on this that actually make things worse. So, like good soldiers do, they put a happy face on it and they charge forward, but they're not happy. But the point is look, they work for the commander-in-chief. It's his, once they said, I will serve on you, Mr. President, and do this, it's their job to faithfully go forth and do that and not snipe behind his back. I mean, that's just not helpful or productive for anything. If General McChrystal has orders that he can't deal with, then it's his job to go back and tell the president that. And if he's called before Congress to testify, he's supposed to testify truthfully before Congress. But he's not supposed to use the Rolling Stone like the Wailing Wall.
Afghan President Hamid Karzai says he backs McChrystal, and his spokesman says Karzai strongly supports McChrystal's strategy and calls him the best commander the United States has sent to Afghanistan over the last 9 years. Now, do you think Obama will consider that at all in making his decision, whatever it turns out to be?
Well, I hope he does. And, I don't draw the analogy to General Patton lightly. I mean, General Patton had a lot of great virtues. Political correctness wasn't always one of them. He said some very silly things at times, and he wound up getting called on the carpet and actually reprimanded. But, at the end of the day, General Eisenhower and General Marshall realized, and the President realized, that he was an honest, true patriot who wanted to do the best thing for his country. I think General McChrystal is too. I can't emphasize enough how difficult the situation is. Victory in Afghanistan is very, very important. There are a lot of people who say, well, things are tough. Well, if you remember, General McChrystal said things were going to be tough this summer when we basically took the enemy on. They were going to fight back, and it was going to be messy. And, people who say, well, this is hard, we should just quit, they never give you the second sentence, was, let me tell you what's going to happen after we run away. There's going to be a genocide in Afghanistan. It's going to be destabilizing in Pakistan. There could be a war between Pakistan and India. Al-Qaeda could come back. There'll be more attacks in the United States. It'll be 9/11 on steroids. So walking away sounds great until you think about all the other consequences of walking away. As difficult as winning is, it's a heck of a lot better option than reaping another whirlwind of terrorism and regional destabilization.
Is Al-Qaeda still in Afghanistan?
That's a good question. Could there be Al-Qaeda operatives in Afghanistan? Sure, there could be. The guy that went into the CIA outfit in Afghanistan, blew himself up, he was an Al-Qaeda affiliate. So there could be some Al-Qaeda affiliates and agents operating in Afghanistan. Are they controlling territory and countryside? No. I mean, the military wing of that is really the Taliban. But, sometimes I think we make a mistake by kind of saying, well, there's Afghan Taliban, and there's Pakistani Taliban, and there's Al-Qaeda. But the truth is, all these people have a common cause, and we're going to have to kick all of them to win, right? So sometimes we made a problem, among ourselves, just trying to distinguish about who are we really fighting here. All these guys are affiliated. It's like saying, who are we fighting in World War II? The Japanese or the Germans? And the answer is, well, we're fighting our enemies. And I think we really have to kind of treat them as kind of a problem. At the end of the day, you're going to do things differently. I mean, a large segment of the Afghan population is Pashtun. Most of the Taliban are Pashtun. I mean, you're not going to eliminate the Taliban in the sense that, a lot of these people live in that country. You have to defeat them, you have to demobilize them, and you have to bring them into the political process and make them live by the rule of law. Now, at the end of the day, Al-Qaeda, these are foreign people, by and large. Them you basically have to eliminate because they are the sworn enemy of America. But again, that's going to require victory on both sides of the border, on our side, on the side where the U.S. is helping out the Afghans, and on the Pakistani side as well.
James Carafano of the Heritage Foundation, thanks so much again for talking with us.
Thanks for having me, Ashley. Thank you.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.